Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Sidebar Street and Culture Parkway. I'm your host, Zim Digital, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. This your boy Gino.
And we have our guest and interview for the day, author, Mr. Ernest Porter, author of the book Reflections of a Soul. Tell us about it.
Well, like I say, man, it's a pleasure to be here with you, you brothers. But like Reflections of a Soul is actually a story that I started off talking about myself, and it's actually a walk through history. And those who know me know I traveled around this country for the last 40 years collecting, I would call data about the conditions of black people in America. And one thing is consistent: everywhere that I go, every city that I'm in, we're the ones struggling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a coincidence. So that means to tell me that's systematical. So, and just like I was talking about earlier, I wrote one part of the chapter called "We the People," and I'm talking about how the Constitution did not reflect black people as people. I also wrote about the "Never Let Us Forget," and that chapter is talking about us paying respect to those who paid the way for us, and knowing and respecting what they died for. So, and I also wrote different things, and it's actually like I say, a walk through history, bro.
Yeah.
And when you read it, and when you get to the end, you actually don't even realize that I was talking about me, because you see yourself at the end of the book.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
deep.
That's deep. Reflections of a Soul. Hence the title. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't even think about it like that. That's
Right,
that's a masterful way
right.
of writing. It's yeah. I like that. I like
Yes.
that. So you before we started the show, you actually said you have some follow-up books that you had in mind.
Yeah.
That I mean, if you care to share a little bit on the show about what those books are and what they entail.
Yeah. The one that I finished and got the manuscript finished is called "Attacked but Not Broken," and it talks about basically how all the things that I experienced, right, and how we just continue to persevere. Every time we think we destroy it, we bounce back. Think we destroy it, we bounce back. We keep bouncing back. So that means that we attack, but we're not broken. And
Right,
then
right.
the last book not the last book, but the book that I'm writing now that I'm almost finished with is called Facing You. It's where you take the time. I always call sitting in the room with the lights turned off, and the only person you got to talk to is you. You know, if
Okay.
you can't be honest with yourself, you can't be honest with anybody else.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Very true.
That man in the
Such
mirror.
true words.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have here a video clip of a short of a commercial that you just put out for the Reflections of a Soul. Care do we play a little bit of it before we ask you a couple more questions and get into the topic of the day?
Let's get it. I'm
All
ready.
right, all right. Let's see what's up. Let's see what's up here. Let me get this up out of the way. Let's play our video.
Hello, my name is Ernest Porter, the new author of the book Reflections of a Soul,
Oh, I see
a
it.
new dynamic book available on Amazon.com. Reflections of a Soul was inspired by my grandmother's old wisdoms, my grandfather's old wisdom, the things I've seen on my travel across America in my job. Reflections of a Soul is me pouring out my soul to you to help you elevate your life, make things in your life better. So you can hear what your spirit is telling you. Because our spirit talks to us all the time, but we're so busy in the hustle and bustle of life, that we don't listen to it. So once we quiet ourselves and listen to what our spirit is telling us, then we can find new direction. Some of us are operating outside of our purpose. That's why we struggle so hard. Because even the Bible says your gifts and talents will make way for you. What I really want you to do is be able to start off looking at me, the writer, but at the end, see you in a new light. I say that I walked a fine line and didn't do anything, but my whole thing was I don't want to disrespect my mother. Through listening at roundtable discussions at my house, I would hear the struggle of the families in our community, but I didn't hear solutions to the struggles. So we still was in the same situation, in the same condition year after year after year. And one of the things I always
So let's get into this this discussion about the new Jim Crow.
Oh yeah.
Jackson, Mississippi, the new Jim Crow, and how that actually fits into or segues. Your book kind of segued into this time because we had conversations prior about this, and that's why you came to mind when this news media clip caught my attention. And I started going down a totem pole. I was like, yo, dang, man, like this is a lot of what Ernest Porter, actually talked on and made points on within the book. You know what I mean? Whereas you actually explained how historically we felt like we rised up out of, you know what I mean, out of a certain situation. And the moment we rised up out of it, we felt that we as soon as we got on par, where we felt that we were doing right or doing good economically, right, and the black family was thriving, we were still making only a percentage of what the white America was making. You know what I mean? And at the rate that we were climbing, it's you projected that even 50 years later, which actually happened, but you still projected like even from now, at the rate that it was going, 50 years later, they still were on the same imbalanced playing field.
Yeah.
And then here we are today looking at the same things going on. And so, okay, yeah, well, we might be able to amass a certain amount of wealth, but there's still this huge gap that basically has been going on for so long that there's no way to really write it. You know what I'm saying? Right. And like you kind of alluded to that. So can you give us a little bit about? You can tell us so much better than I can, man. I don't do your book any justice at all, man.
Yeah. Here's a question: what is wealth without knowledge?
Right.
So most of the time, wealth without knowledge is foolish money. Because what happens if you have wealth and without knowledge? What happens? You end up in the same condition you was in before you got the wealth, right? Indeed. So, and I look at it from not from a money standpoint. I look at it from a self standpoint, because with all three of us on here, if we know our purpose and our walk and our talents and our gift, and we walk in that, everything else is going to be attracted to us.
Right.
So that's one of the things I try to talk about. And when we were talking about the effects of Jim Crow and how in my book I used the numbers from 1968 to 2022 at the time. The margins of like I said, unbalanced was exactly the same from 68 to 2022.
Right. Just change the number. Just change how much we're making. Just change how much everything costs. Just, yeah. So what you're saying is like even with the inflation of prices over time, because prices always inflate throughout history. Because like back then, certain things that cost maybe $2 now used to cost like a nickel. You know what I mean?
Right.
Back in like the 40s and whatnot, right? Would you say that that even like the what you call it,
The wealth gap.
The
no,
growth rate is
it's the
just
growth. Yeah, I'm alluding to the growth rate, but it's like the national growth
where
rate.
do where do we stagnate? Like what happened? Where do we come up out of slavery and we got these rights, we can vote, but where do we stagnate? Like
I mean, we kind
what
of
is
got
going on in
smacked.
'68?
We kind of got
That's
hit
also in
every time
2022.
we created an independent town, city, whatever, what have you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We thrived. We traded
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
money. You know what I'm saying? To the tune of millions, circulated inside of our
Mm-hmm.
systems, and we were the first to actually create these sort of situations. You know what I mean? They actually learned from us. Like Wall Street
Yeah.
got their whole plan from us. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the way that they were able to actually make Wall Street into a viable situation was getting us out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In
'Cause at
actuality.
one time we actually was the bonds that backed the currency.
Right. Right. Oh yeah. That is true. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
black gold. I like to call it black gold.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what we were. We were currency. We were
Mm-hmm.
actual currency. You know.
What they said, we were the chattel. They said we were the chattel because they. I read something too, something about how they really broke down the whole meaning of Wall Street. You know what I mean? That one took me deep. It was like, man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish you had more to say on that, man. Right
Yeah.
there.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's I don't have quite all the knowledge right now. You know what I mean? I'm behooved on exactly like all the content I did read, but Wall Street, like I believe, like it was based off of the chattel, the slaves that they brung up. Up and down. Was it New Hampshire and Philly and up north? Because
Oh,
they tried
okay.
to make it look like it was just happening here, but really when they was trying to trade them, like the official places where they were trading people as far as the monies was up there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh.
you know what I
Oh,
mean?
okay, okay.
And so we
So
were
the
we were the actual things that were being traded, but they made it seem as though there was sheep, cattle, labor, and things like that. But it was us.
so it was the
We were
banks
Yeah.
it.
up it was the banks up top
Hmm.
that was basically financing the South. That's what you're
Hmm.
saying? It sounds
Absolutely,
plausible. Definitely sounds plausible.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Because I mean,
Mhm.
look at the industrialism. You know what I mean? The super fast pace of industrialism after slavery.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want to touch on one thing that you said, Gino, and you was talking about the 68. So
Hmm.
we was, I'm gonna say, rocked to sleep thinking that what we had wasn't good enough. Because it's a guy that my grandmother knew in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, had their own bus company,
Hmm.
thriving. But when the civil rights came along and they misinterpreted what was really needed in the black community, right?
Hmm.
It made us on a lower level feel that we wasn't successful or we wasn't accepted until we can go and sit at the table with other people, ride on
Uh,
somebody else's bus. All right. So the long story short, the guy that had the thriving black bus company in Winston-Salem, his company fell apart because everybody
mm,
wanted to run to the other bus company.
Hmm.
You see what I
mm,
mean? Oh, I'm free now. I can go sit on the bus.
No,
But
mm.
that's
freedom ain't
stupid.
about sitting on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's crazy. It's
yeah.
crazy.
So yeah, we thinking about
The thing is, like, yeah, I really believe, yeah, they didn't know any better. You know, like, not to say that they weren't doing what they were doing in a form of some sort of protest or saying, protesting exactly like, yeah, for equality when they were doing these things. It would have been
Mhm.
better if they would have said, let's not integrate, let's not assimilate, let's build our own thing here and continue to thrive, continue to grow our situations. Let's grow more situations like this, and there was already that kindred communication in the after slavery with, you know what I'm saying, like this. You didn't need a telephone, man. Yo, information was gonna get way
Yeah.
up, you know, and around, like, you know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying, and we pass information around so fast. You know what I mean? I would even believe like even the mailing situation came by way of us as well. You know what I mean? Our ideas. So many
Yeah.
freaking inventions, man. You know?
I mean,
Yeah.
for me, like how I look at it with the whole Jim Crow laws, you know, that or how those things worked was, you know, you you said that we are inferior than others. You know what I mean? Like my side is better than your side. Therefore, we are afforded better rights than you. We're the favored ones. You know what I mean? I don't understand that way of thinking. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so, and this is to me alluding to like what I just read actually online, something about something that's going on down there in Mississippi. Uh, very disturbing to me. I think.
Yeah. So
I mean, to be national news, and I'm like, wait, why is this not on like breaking news? Oh my God, guess what happened? Guess what? This is just it's not being reported as such.
but hey,
Right.
let's break this thing down a little bit deeper. I want to put your voice. So, what do you think one of the main things that's going on through Jim Crow is? Suppression. Lynching, voter suppression, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Right.
So now I want to tie something together. So they said, what your comment was, they said that we was less than, right? We was like
Mm-hmm.
considered animals and all that, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Here's
Right.
here's my question. I want y'all to just kind of elaborate just for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of mindset that you have to consider something an animal, but you want to rape it?
That's a beast.
Yeah.
That is a beast.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
It's
I
an
don't know what to
animal.
call that. I don't know what to call that.
That's destined. That's a more demonic activity, man.
It is.
It's a very
It's
strange, very
unnatural. I would call
strange.
it unnatural.
Yeah, very unnatural activity. You know. Yeah.
Let's just call it what it was: evil.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Very evil.
Yeah. Goodness gracious, man. Like I don't even want to. Like I didn't. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. But look, as far as man, yo, I don't even want
That
to
was something
dog
else.
these people so bad, bro. But like, man, there's just so much to talk about, and the list is just extremely long. And
It
at the
is.
same time, uh, you know, due to the fact that these reparation ideas have come out, a lot of we can hearing a lot of hatred on that end, and I can't
Mhm.
believe why on earth everybody else and their mama, right, could get an apology and get reparations and some land, low interest rate loans, you know what I mean, and all the stuff. And we're still looking as though we're looking for a handout. We have, you know, like it's really odd to me, you know what I mean? How they try to give us some sort of it's like we want some sort of scapegoat or something. You know what I
Yeah,
Mhm.
mean? And it's like
Mhm.
yeah,
what we've been saying, it's been happening now. But you just been dreaming that. You just
yeah,
been dreaming that. And by the way, that was your ancestors, man. It has nothing to do with you. No reflection on your
Mhm.
life and where you are.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It has no bearing whatsoever. It's a new world, man. It's a new world.
yeah.
Yet
Forget
yet
about it.
yet yet we're passing 10, I think it was called 1021,
Mhm.
1020.
1020.
1020.
Yeah, you know
HB
what I'm saying? But
1020.
what they called it was they said at first it passed in the House of
Yeah.
Mhm.
Jackson, right? And then it moved on to the governor's desk. Then it passed in the Senate to the tune of
76
a
to
70
30
something.
something.
Yeah, bro. So I'm
Ugh.
like, and we're talking about a place where 85% of the population is black.
Yeah.
And this is
They are
like, yo,
misinformed.
did we drop the
Man,
ball there? Did we drop the ball and take our eyes off of everything that was going on? You know what I mean? Or is this some sort of unconstitutional effort by
both.
these people? You know, on the I'm really thinking close, and I don't want to believe that this can
Both.
actually continue for too much longer because of the implications. But they did say that by the time it was passed in the Senate, they had rewrote it, they revised it somehow, and I'm really I want to know about what kind of revisions they've made. Have you looked
Right.
into the
Right.
revisions?
Right.
Have the revisions of this bill gone public?
Right.
I have not seen the revisions, but go
I
ahead. Go
haven't
ahead. Go
either.
ahead, Ernest.
But when you was talking about, when we talk, because we all talking about this umbrella of Jim Crow, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And you and Gino was talking about, and both of y'all were talking about, you were talking about dropping the ball, and Gino was talking about what some things that we didn't do. Personally, I'm talking for me.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I think we dropped the ball on after the Civil War, we did not form a black militia.
Yeah.
Mm.
So we had
Very true.
no defense.
To a
See what I mean?
degree, it happened under it did happen under many circumstances, but it was not able to grow either due to infighting or the fact that it got broken up by the government. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So either way, it had to be a really mass ecumenical, you know what I'm saying, movement in order for us to be able to say that we started those sort of militias back then. You know what I
The
mean? And they're
closest we
still
Because you
got
know,
to
thriving
were
today,
the
right?
Panthers. The Panthers were the closest we got to that, I think.
yeah,
Exactly. That's
yeah,
what I'm alluding to. But before
right.
that, they were formed militias prior to
This,
Malcolm
this,
X.
this what I'm talking about, this form of militia, right?
Mm.
I know about the deacons of defense and those guys, but
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm talking about. When those other folks had a problem, they would send somebody on a horse to go ride, and all these people had guns and stuff, and they would all leave their home, leave their wives and their children. They'll go out and fight for the same cause.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was oppression, it was to go and lynch somebody, to go set somebody's house on fire, to
Mm-hmm.
kill up a bunch of people. But
Mm-hmm.
they could like, I'm gonna say it like this, they can dial 911 and get all their buddies together.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
For our case, we didn't have that. We didn't have it where because one time we couldn't own guns.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So we didn't have that ability to have all this arsenal of weapons that people would be scared of us.
Right.
The second part was Jesus.
Mm.
Because we was taught, love thy neighbor, turn the other cheek, obey thy master, all these different things, right?
Yeah.
Which was all taken out of context.
Completely out of context. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So we had this loving and forgiving spirit. So whatever happened to us, we'll just go in the closet, pray,
Go along with it.
hoping things will be all right. When you do something to somebody else, guess what happens? They come into your house with fire, gasoline, and 30 people with hoods on.
Right.
Chastise.
Right.
You see what I mean? It's different. Right. We were scared of them, but we knew they was coming.
Mm-hmm.
They wasn't scared of you.
Yeah.
That to me, them two things made a big difference in how things was handled.
Right.
Mm.
And I agree. And a lot of radicalized movements were too small. You know what I mean?
Right.
They were too small. Not enough people did want to get up and fight. They all thought it was a lost cause. You know what I mean? That's why there was a story in my college studies I ran across about this uprising that was supposed to happen here in Richmond, where due to a rainy day, they put it back. They put back the when they was gonna do it.
I heard about
and
that.
and
Yeah.
one guy took and snitched on all of them. He was black too. He was
Yeah,
with them. He was in the crew.
yeah.
Nobody was gonna know anything, and he went and
Mm-hmm.
told, and they all wound up getting killed and everything, man. You know what I mean? Because of
Mm-hmm.
it, and it's that's just the way that. I mean, you can even take it to the whole Jesus story too, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, his people killed him. You know what I mean? His people, his own people crucified him. You know what I mean? Pilate ain't want to have nothing to do with him. You know what I'm saying? He was like, nah, I ain't gonna mess with that. You know what I mean? And obviously he knew something was up. His wife knew something was up. You know what I mean? His woman knew something was up. You know what I'm saying? So he was like, nah. I'm washing my hands of this. I'm getting up out the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be all right.
Which is a tough thing to accept. Which is a tough thing to accept to say that, you know what I mean, like we are our own downfall. Like that's a tough thing to accept. I'm like, man, what? Us? We destroy each other from inside?
Right,
Yeah.
right. Like
Yeah.
we
It's not
implode. We
they
literally
can't beat
implode.
you.
Yeah.
They cannot beat you. You are a formidable weapon out here in the world. That's why they look at you with fear.
Right.
Yeah.
You have not done anything to anybody, but yet when they look at you, you are a threat.
Yeah.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so like
Because of your because of the
only way you
potential.
lose out of that is if you accept and say, like, you know what, I'm not formidable enough. Let me humble myself. Like you said, turn the other cheek. Let me love. You know,
But
let me not
I
hate,
think that's
you
why
know.
this all of this nonsense is going on is because of the awakening that's been going on. You know what I'm saying? Even to the point of us knowing that now that we have to speak to our world, that we can transform our world with our words. You know what I'm saying? Affirmations,
Mm,
how to eat healthier. You know what I'm saying? How
mm-hmm,
to think healthy thoughts. You know what I'm saying? And like everybody is now trying, and I'm not saying everybody, but a grand majority of us, you know what I'm saying, are coming into knowing who we are now. You know what I'm saying? And governing our minds in a sense where um we know the potential, the power, and we have much um intent on its usage. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Eh,
indeed.
yeah.
Yeah.
You made some very key points there. So that goes back to what we talked about earlier. So it's really not about the money. It's about
Mm-hmm,
keeping you sleep on who you are.
Right,
You
right.
see,
Yeah.
I can give you 3, 4, 5, $30 million. You run around acting like a clown. I don't have to worry about you. But
Right.
you give somebody else that's knowledgeable of self just $30,000. They're gonna say, you know what? Man, I thought I saw some land up there, 5 acres or 5,000 an
yeah,
acre. I can go
yeah.
buy, six. I can go buy 6 acres
Mm-hmm.
and start developing.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Prime example.
But I
Prime
think that's the
example.
reason why they give a lot of dumb dumb people these millions and then make them like this flashy little trinket that they dangle in front of the youth's eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they get a bunch of them to run that way and want to emulate that thing. You know what I mean? So that
I'm
way
gonna give y'all.
they keep us in that mother freaking loop, you know?
I'm gonna give y'all Jim Crow 2.0 right quick.
Okay.
Let's go.
Did you see Jim Jones? Did you see? I want to say it was Jim Jones.
Jimmy?
Was it Jim Jones? Which the rapper?
Yeah, Jim Jones and who is it? Pusha T?
No, when he went to the Gucci store
Mm.
Oh,
What
yeah,
happened? What happened?
with
yeah,
all the money he
yeah.
got now, they made him feel
And
like
they
he
thought,
was trash.
Dang.
yeah, they thought he was stealing. They thought he was stealing.
What?
And he had spent $30,000 in there.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
Had a VIP room.
Yep,
They didn't even send anybody to the VIP room to wait on him.
yep.
Wow.
Then they put his behind out the store.
They put him out. Yep, they sure did.
Oh man, I need my money. He coming up. He coming up. I'm coming up.
And guess what? Now he's upset and want everybody to be on the bandwagon with him, right?
Right.
But bruh, we've been talking about this for years.
For a minute.
You ain't had to go in there and get up people your money.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
VIP room.
What is
you
up?
going in there to sit and get a pendant. They can give you champagne and cookies and crackers and give you
Right.
massages.
What's up?
And
What's
yes,
up with
sir,
buying?
yes,
What's up with
sir,
buying
yes,
black?
sir, no, sir.
Let's buy black.
Exactly.
Buy
Once they
black,
don't,
man.
once
Invest
they don't
black.
want to do yes, sir, no, sir. Once they don't want to say yes, sir, no, sir. Now you feel some type of way. It's almost like you want to be the master.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
he want to be Steven.
And
You know what I mean?
Is that to say like is that to say that that's sad though, man. That's sad though. Because it's like it goes right back to what you were saying, man. Is that likened to what they did in the South to Homie's Bus Company?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like instead of going by black, you know what I mean? Yeah, you gonna go put on them, you know, those Balenciagas. You know what I mean? You gonna go
Which
get
is
that.
crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you look at it, you're like, okay, if we go back to '64, we got a civil rights act just approved. You know, now you afforded certain amenities that these white folk have. And I think I won't say stop there, but now you're like, oh, now I can go do this. I could be bougie too. You know, I could throw my suit on and walk. You know what I mean? Like,
Instead
I
of
think you're
keeping
right.
focus.
So
yeah.
So this is the tough part. Separate but equal.
Yeah.
Does that work? We can stay separate. We're equal, but let's stay separate. You go over there, I stay over here. I do my thing. You do your thing.
I don't believe in the extreme of that. Yeah, we could still go to some of the same, but I'm saying like for the most part, our money should stay in our you know what
Absolutely.
I'm saying, in our communities for a much longer time. You know what I mean? We
The
need
whole
to be
point of
spending
separate
with
but
each
equal.
other more. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's okay to go out and have a good time and go see the world and go see you know, different places, but for the most part, we really need to be investing in ourselves and our communities first. You know what I mean?
That's
Because
where
we are the biggest consumers, bro, to the tune of trillions of dollars a freaking year. Enough is
Yeah.
enough. Like I was saying this the other day, yo. Like if we all like say they gave us all reparations to the tune of say like even $500,000 a piece, yo. What if we all said, yo, we're taking off, we're going to another country, man, a mass migration, and we left? What would America do, bro? What would they do without us, bro?
Yeah.
Oh,
What
it's
the
war.
freak would they do?
Yeah.
You
I'm
know
just
what I'm
saying
saying?
the tough part about it also is like we don't own our communities. We could talk all about this, but you know, if we're in a housing project and we got 40,000 people, we don't own that block. We don't own that street. We don't own that water facility that's
Nah, we don't
treating
own
that
that
water.
property.
We don't own
We
that
don't own
bus
that
that's doing the
land.
daily thing. We don't
Yeah.
own that land. Like
Right.
that part is what we need to study. Let's study like how we actually build economics. Let's not say just have money. Because having money, like you said, is nothing. You're a
Right.
dummy with money. You're gonna
Right.
spend it right back with me. I know you want McDonald's. I know
But
you
we
want
do,
Chick-fil-A.
but look, we do need a certain amount of financial freedom, though. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Indeed.
I
saying?
agree.
Like we
Indeed.
need to definitely need a certain amount of financial freedom so that way we can make the right investments and stuff like that. You know what I
Right.
mean? But before that, we
Absolutely.
need to be able to we a lot of us need to be taught on how to properly move our finances. You know what I'm saying?
Financial literacy.
Re-education.
Yeah, financial literacy, right? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's like imperative. But those are not, see, on the grassroots level. That's not the things. Those are not the things that we learn in school as youths. Like those are the things that those the white family teaches their kids in the house. They have those. They have them reading those type of books and stuff like
Yeah.
that. We just now getting on, and I'm not saying like all of us, but like, you know, I know for a fact that a lot of my family members, you know, I've been teaching their children, you know what I'm saying, who are my age, who knew a lot of this stuff way before I knew. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
but you know, growing up, you know what I'm saying, being as inquisitive as I am, man, I started picking up books and stuff like that myself. You know, my pops, my uncle, they always had the knowledge. You know what I'm saying too. You know, so they but you know, they weren't always around to, like, you know, not to say that they weren't in the house. You know what I'm saying? My pop wasn't in the house. Like he always been around,
Yeah.
like forever, like champion. You know what I'm saying? King, right? But
Yeah.
daggone, what I'm saying is I was more running to the street for my, you know, for what I desired or what I believe satisfied me. You know what I'm saying? With like, you
Right,
know,
right.
company and
Absolutely.
stuff like that. You have I think everybody has the right to have a little young and dumb life. You know what I'm saying? But once
Yeah,
that phase was over, you know what I mean? I started looking into who I am. Who am I? You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Why are things the way they are? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, yo,
yeah.
oh yeah, I'm of course I'm black, but what does that mean? What does that entail? Why do I feel this cognitive dissonance that I feel? You know what I'm saying? Why do I feel like
Mhm.
I'm living in a foreign land? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? For every day of my
yeah,
life. You know what I mean? Why is all this foreign to me? Why are those looks foreign to me? You know what I mean? And then even trying to balance out how so much truth is said, and then after the truth is said, where we become oblivious to it so quickly. You know what I mean? Such as
right.
the JFK speech, man, the military industrial complex, man.
Prolific.
He said that I
Prolific.
do
Mhm.
not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control,
Yeah.
and then he got killed, and so we're living in are we living in the matrix he tried to prevent?
Yeah.
I think so. I
But
think so.
boy, that's good conversation right there, though. I don't want to. I don't want to stretch it out, but I think that speeches like that is something that we should be internalizing and studying in our own private settings,
Right.
if that makes
Mhm.
sense. All
Right.
right.
Mhm.
The problem I have with the reparations is, and in our community is, there's no black accountability in our community.
Mhm.
We'll let somebody go kill your nephew,
Yep.
and we come under the no snitching clause.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we don't want. But now you got a killer running around in your neighborhood. Got
Yep.
all the people scared. Your auntie and your grandma can't go to the bail box to get their medicine because
Mhm.
they know Debo over there. You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. And there was a
But
time
they
when
like,
a thief couldn't come back to his neighborhood. You couldn't steal
For
where
real.
you can't crap where you eat. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
exactly,
So or where you sleep. So like, you know, homie couldn't come back to the neighborhood. Otherwise, everybody was on him.
Like you
exactly.
And that,
said, the
yeah,
lullaby that they doing, man. I don't understand it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not conducive to evolution. I'll put it like that
yeah.
because
That's well said.
yeah, yeah.
Well, let's say this. Okay, let's say this. What do you think are the solutions to this? Like, how do we put black accountability? Like, how do we even establish that in the realm of things?
I think we need to do. I think we need to do a part two because we're highly over time. We need to do a part two. Uh, after this, can you stick around with us, Ernest, and we see
Yeah,
about your availability. We definitely want to do a part two to this, man. Carry on this
yeah.
conversation.
I
Um,
love that question.
Yeah.
yeah. We need to pick up right on that. All right, on our next
Okay.
show.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, thank you everybody for watching. I am Zim Digital.
Yo,
Um,
this your boy Gino.
Gino and Ernest Porter, Arthur, Reflections of the Soul.
Check him
Man, a
out.
deep book. We're definitely gonna get into some of the chapters in his book on the next time. See if we can pick his mind on what some of these
Yeah.
chapters are about. Um,
For
you have any last words for us? Fitted like a good word for us to leave out on and whatnot.
I just think is these kind of conversations is what we really need in our community. You know, I I think it would be really, really productive if we can either, come into the community and say, hey, let's talk about this right here. Put your feelings aside, your emotions aside. I don't care if you work for this white guy for 30 years and he gave you beans and okras when you was young. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest and put it on the table. All right. Because
Hmm.
here's my perspective. I know what I seen like when my grandmother's aunt was in Tampa, Florida. I'll make this real short. And when I used to come from Philly, I'd go down there and she would get me to ride with her from Wilmington, North Carolina to Tampa, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And in the book, I talked about when we stopped at a gas station one time, and they was talking to my grandmother like she was a boy. Wouldn't sell her gas. So I'm talking about in my lifetime, not,
Yeah, not your ancestors, but this happened.
Exactly.
This was as recent as people who are alive had went through this. Yeah,
Exactly.
including my pop got stories, my mama got stories, man. And
Yeah.
so it's not so far removed from my generation. And being as you're still alive, my mom's still alive, y'all still gonna be kicking around for a good another 40 years. You know what I'm saying? God willing, another 50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But daggone, when that comes down, I'll probably be around your age and the youth of today. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully
Right.
they won't.
Nowadays.
Hopefully they'll see some sort of escape from this this cycle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
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 The only thing this is what I would close on, and this is what I'm in the process of doing myself. I think everybody that's on your live stream or whatever, or your family members, should take your phone and go to the oldest person in your family and let them talk, and you video their story. Because that's what I'm doing with my I got a cousin, 98, and one is 97, and they have all the history. So I would just beg everybody to capture those stories.
Yo, I'm
I
really
do the same
going
thing
to
too
be
because
on. Oh my gosh, bro.
I say study the relics. Like on my final words, like that's always been my thing. And my
Well,
parents always told me, was like, hey, you learn everything from the books, but always study the relics, the living relics.
Yeah.
And
I
I'll leave
can't
it at that.
believe he just did that, man. That is crazy,
What?
yo. Just called me while I was on the live, man. You know what I mean? I had to swipe the screen out the way. People saw that, whatever. Like, yo, I think sometimes some people do things on purpose, yo. You know what I mean? When they know you're doing something positive. But yo,
People say they want to see you doing good until they see you doing good.
yeah, there's no way you didn't see. There's no way you didn't see us not on live. Like, what the frick, bro? Anyway, man, it was a great conversation, man, with you. I'm looking forward
Definitely
to that
great.
part 2. Hopefully, we can do it soon. I'm sorry we took so much of your time. We only expected to be about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, but yeah, and I apologize, Gene, too, because Gene's all the way in Alaska and his time is crazy. You know what I mean? We're 4 hours ahead of him, and he works a night shift, so he's got to be to work. He got to go to sleep like ASAP. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It looks light outside. If he shows you outside, it's light out there right now. It's crazy.
Super bright.
Yeah, but yo, peace, blessings. I appreciate you for joining us today, Ernest Porter.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
And you as well, Gene. Y'all take care. Everybody online, take care. Sidebar Street and Culture Parkway signing out. Peace.
Peace.